Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning, sir. You're welcome. My name is Binta Farouk. I am an SMT school monitoring team for the Girl Child Education Project implemented by Connected Development with support from Malala Fund. We're here to have a little discussion with you, considering the fact that in Hausa there's an adage that said, Malamai magadan annabawa ne. So we're here to discuss with you so that we'll know your perspective on girl child education. Allah gafarta malam, what does Islam said about education, especially for girl child?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم. My name is Muhammad Bala Ahmad, limanci Chief Imam Bauchi Amarat Council. You talk of Islamic perspective on education, especially for girls' child education. Education Islamically is to develop an individual to a full capacity that can be able to live comfortably with himself, with his parent, with community, and above all, with his creator, the Almighty Allah. That is the education. And Islamically, we have given a great importance to education. There is no a prophet that comes who is illiterate. They are all literate. Their companions are literate. They teach so that their followers can be literate. So, in summary, nothing can be without education. Even their teaching is education. The Prophet says a complete person is he who learned his language and learned the language of his religion and know the language where activities are carried out in his environment community. For girls' child education, it has a greater importance because girls and women has a greater importance. They even have a complete chapter in Quran, which we call it the chapter of women, Surah An-Nisa. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has shown us the importance of education, girls' child education, because his daughter is learned one. A lot of tradition of the Prophet are received from her. She led in teaching the women and the girl of that child. That's symbol to us that girls' child education is very important. Coming to Nigeria, we have Nana Asma, the daughter of Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio. She was hero. She teaches, established schools. And even now we have a university trying to establish in her name. That is even in Nigeria. So therefore, the girls' child education is very important. The Prophet Muhammad has shown us the importance of training a girl's child, training the women so that they can perform their religion perfectly. They can be able to live with their husband peacefully and perfectly, and we all emulate from them. Therefore, the girls' child education in Islam has a very great role to play, and we have a great role to play to encourage the girls child's education. We do not want them to be illiterate. Nobody wants to live with illiterate. So therefore, girls' child education in Islam has a very, very great role, very great importance from the time of the Prophet Muhammad down to us now.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Allah Gafar Chamala. That was really impactful. We know that Islam encourages education, especially for girl child. Allah Gafar Chamala, being the Imam and somebody that is highly looked upon, how can religious leaders support the state in addressing harmful social norms that keep girls out of school?
Well, as I want to say, harmful norms is very wide as far as we are concerned. We have harmful norms that are being harmful practiced at the time of Jahiliyyah, when people are not learned, they have a lot of harmful norms which are not even good, not only even to the society. Can you give me the example of harmful norms you are taking so that I know the area I can?
Okay, some of the harmful norms, culturally, it is believed that it is men that have the right to go to school, to be educated because they carry the family name and stuff like that. And they feel girl shouldn't be educated. She should just get married. She should be married off without really having to go to school. So for me, that is also harmful for the girls. They have the right to knowledge, to be educated, so that they lead a meaningful life.
Well, thank you very much. We are past that stage because I tell you, Islamically, educating women are very important, and the practice will help the Prophet Muhammad down to us. But harmful, you say, maybe has something to do with the culture, more of culture, rather than religion. Culturally, women are believed to be kept in a house. They cook and they are left with the bringing up of children and so on and so forth. But even at that time, what the religion says, activities like going to war that are very dangerous, women are excluded and children are excluded. Even in war, jihad war, we exclude women. But culture, in some places you find that they don't give chance to girls to go to schools because they believe they should be okay. They believe they should be in a house. They believe that men are superior. Yes, men are superior. That's how the religion says men are superior. الرجال قوامون على النساء. They are superior. But that doesn't say you should leave them ignorant. You should not teach them. And the harmful we have within the cultural society, we must try to eradicate them. You will be culturally allowing your daughter to go out. Okay. But what are the social implications and what are the religious implications associated with this culture? You don't know the type of women she will meet when she is hockey. You don't know the type of boys she will meet when she is hockey. And maybe when she come back, maybe couldn't sell the trauma she will have within the house. So if you add these ones, they are very harmful to the girl and they are harmful to the society as well. So this kind of harmful practices we are trying to do away with them. Sometimes some of the harmful within the society we learn is that if the woman dies, it's compulsory the brother to the husband, she married her. Whether she will love him, she doesn't love him, she married her. These are all bad culture. Therefore, it doesn't exist within the Muslim because there is guidelines for marriage within the Muslim. But these are some of the harmful practices. We are trying as much as possible to see that these harmful practices, because by the girls going to hockey, she did not learn how she will practice her religion. She did not learn how she can handle her home because she went all the time outside hockey. She did not learn how to cook, which is important for her marriage home. She did not learn how her mother handled cases of her junior brothers when she was hockeying outside. So this crumble up, and we try as much as possible to eradicate this kind of harmful practices through summoning, through discussing during marriages, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much. That was really a good one. Allah gafarta malam, you were once a teacher and you are still a teacher being the Chief Imam. We want to know your personal reflection and experiences in promoting education in the community.
To Alhamdulillah, when I was a teacher at the Teachers College, we learned when you leave Teachers College, educationally, you have to develop an individual within 4 perspectives. And that's what we learned, and that's what we taught, and that's what you hope that the education should be. These 4 perspectives are: you develop a child physically, physical development. 2, you develop a child morally. 3, you develop a child intellectually. And 4, you develop the child socially. All this one, if you add them, it will make a complete man, from a complete child to a complete man, from a girl to a complete woman. You develop the child physically. We go out, we do physical exercise, we'll tell them the importance of exercises. It develops most part of the body. So we are developing that child physically. Intellectually is what we call him, we teach him English, mathematics, social study, and so on and so forth. So we develop him intellectually. She can read and write. She can explode scientifically. He has to find reason for this, reason for that. So you are developing intellectually. You develop the child morally. He knows what is between him and his Almighty Allah, the Creator. He knows what is to do, what is not to do. This is haram, this is halal. He know when to observe religious practices, how he will approach, how will he pray, what he learn in church, what he learn from the Quran, what he learns from the Bible. You develop him morally. He know this is halal, he know this is haram. This is the area you can go, this is the area you cannot go. The religion agrees that you go to this area. The religion I say you didn't go, you should not go to this area. This practice is prohibited. This practice is allowed. This practice is compulsory. So you develop that child morally. Socially, you develop the child how he can live with his Creator, the Almighty Allah, how he can live with a parent. He know in the morning, he has to come and say, good morning, ma, good morning, da. He know he cannot be seen his father being walking, I is still idle. She know as a girl that she has to help her mother. He learn how he can live with his junior and seniors, how he can live with his neighbors, how he can behave when he was in sport, how he can behave when he was class as well and all. So the interaction he learned through social teaching. If you live one of the four, you are not teaching, you are not developing a child complete in education. So my experience at that time is that a man should not go to class to start teaching unless he learns this. He learns school method with younger children. The way you teach in class 1 is not the same you teach in class 5. It's not the same you teach in senior and junior classes. But nowadays, the practice is different. We make teaching, everyone cannot get any job to do, and even teaching, I can go and do even teaching. So teaching is when you have no sense to do, no job to do, you go teaching. You get secondarian. He too is a child, and you say you go and handle a child. This is nonsense. Teaching is a profession. Nurse is a profession. But you cannot agree for somebody who has not trained in nursing and he handle a patient. Then why do you allow somebody who is not trained to be a teacher and handle your children? So we kill the education ourselves. We demoralize the education ourselves. So you see that what teaching is supposed to be and what teaching not supposed to be. Whoever is responsible, he will answer from the good because he has no social, he has no moral teaching.
Thank you very much, Alaga, for Tamala, for touching where it pains most. Alaga for Tamala, as an educationist and as the Chief Imam, how can faith help bridge gender gaps in teacher development, school retention, and community acceptance?
1, we're breathing. And then we know from the moral teaching, if it is there, if the moral teaching is there, the girl from her mother know what she can do, know what she cannot do. As a girl, as a boy, If there is moral teaching, you know how you can handle your juniors, you know how you can handle your mother, you know how you can handle your father. You understand? If everybody knows his level limit, it's simple to bridge the gap. We can bridge the gap if we can enlighten the society on harmful practices we discussed earlier. We can bridge the gap if we can make every gender not slavery. Socially and morally, even by build-up, physically. So if that teaching can go, which we are trying, we know we will come back when they come to where we are. When we are trying to convince people that this is the level, this is the level, I can recall when the wives of our leaders went to Beijing. I don't know whether you have one day hear about Beijing resolutions.
Yes, sir.
I was one of the people, they took me where we want to demonstrate the Beijing resolutions. There are a lot of items in Beijing resolutions. We sat down. Resolution 1, before we take a decision, we as a Muslim, what does the Almighty Allah say in our Quran? What did the Prophet Muhammad say in his tradition? The Bible, what did Jesus says? What did the Bible says? If that contradict Quran and Bible, we put it in a dustbin. For example, they said man and women, they should be equal. Is Almighty Allah create them equal? I ask you, the Adams and the Hawa, the Almighty Allah created them equal?
No, he didn't.
He didn't, because he created Hawa out of Adam. Superiority is there. Then why should somebody say he won't make them equal? Because he has no moral teaching. We say that is put aside, we are not going to accept it Islamically. They said when sharing the inheritance, the woman and the man should have equal fare. What the Almighty Allah said, they should have 1 to 2 in profession. So the people are bringing them are more educated than the Almighty Allah. It's the role of the Almighty Allah. And somebody said we should change it. We say it contradicts Quran, it contradicts the Bible. Put it in the dustbin. You understand? Because that one is a Western culture, Western civilization. Does not agree with Islamic culture, does not agree with the Christianity culture. So we are not going to take the Western culture, Western civilization and put it into our... Nobody can compose that. So if we accept the reality, the gap will be, inshallah, will be bridged. And I told you, women, the Almighty Allah say, وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. That means if you appreciate what I do to you, you get more. If you do not appreciate, you go back. When I was a teacher, in 1974, I started teaching. In the whole system here in Bauchi, there are not more than 6 female teachers. But now we dominate. Don't talk even of PAMSEC commissioner. You now have PAMSEC, we now have commissioners. You are even now trying to become governors. But you are not grateful. You always say, women are left behind. Women are teachers. You need more. You're not appreciating the Almighty Allah compared with where you are and where you are now. So when we teach you that you appreciate, maybe the job will be continue. You appreciate where you are. Because this is like, think of your yesterday, think of today, and then talk of tomorrow.
Alaga for Samala. We talked about breaching the gap in teacher redeployment and retention. You discovered that teachers are redeployed to certain schools or certain village, and maybe they are not reporting, or if they report, there's no retention. How do we bridge that gap in order to make the community to accept it?
Now let me have talk a very, very burning issue. I told you earlier, we were teachers, but professional teachers. But now we don't have professional teachers. If you want to have an education as it is, we have to make it as it is. The policy, when it is faulty, we drop it. Whoever brings the policy that everybody can teach, whether he's professional or not, he's cheating us. Let us make a teaching to become a profession. 1. Number 2, conducive atmosphere. Do you hear what I'm saying? Conducive atmosphere. Can you compare the salary of a teacher and the salary of a nurse? Why? Because they say teachers are not important. And now we want to make them important. Where do we regulate it until we make them important? 3, most of our places we go for teaching, you find that the teacher sleep maybe in the classroom. If you want to teach the children, he either sleep in a classroom or he sleep in
the school premises.
School premises. He has no provision. Where are we going to stay? Is it the same with the nursing process?
No.
Why? Then we created it. We can correct it by that. And at the same time, when I was a teacher, the community also, you understand? If I'm going to post a bullet, first of all of us will be brought to the Emir of Bauchi, for example. The Emir of Bauchi will address us, and then he will send us to the district where we are supposed to. This is there are teachers for your area, sent by the Emir of Bauchi. The district head on the teachers, like the Emir on the teachers. The district head will send them to the respective villages they are teaching. You see, there is ownership, no ownership for the building, for the teachers, And therefore the people feel we are not their people. If they own them, the teacher wants children. He has no problem go to the village head. The village head will be responsible too. But now you always send him to the village. How is he going to start? So we have to go back to square one. I was a member for recruiting teachers. You have to interview him. You have to know his capability. Now it's not the problem. You send every Jack and Harry to go and teach. So we want to bridge the gap between the girls' child education and the boys, or between the existing education and where we are now compared with where we were. We'll have to go back to the old practice.
Oh, mashallah. Thank you very much. Allah gafarta mala. As an educator who knows the value of education and especially the girl child education, what is your thoughts on engaging boys and men to become allies in promoting the girls' education?
We have done this exercise because all we believe is that there is no successful man without a successful wife, which is true. We can recall the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam consult his wife on an issue affecting the community. You understand? So the boys and girls, my classmates in primary school, they're still together. Because the life we lived that time is not the life the people live now. You understand? So the boys, if they are properly trained in the process I tell you, physically, intellectually, morally, and socially, they can live together with their co. But otherwise, if there is no that train to bridge the gap, you will do it in your time. Because what he has in mind is different to what she has in mind. The training she has is different the training he has. So to put them together is another tug of war we will create. We can do it. In my class, I was the fastest runner. In my class, I have a girl that was the fastest runner among the girls. We're still. Tonight, she in her husband house, and I was my husband. But the relationship still exists, even among our people. But the issue is that we let the training. And if we want to succeed, we have to go back to the square one. It's both. They have a good connection. But even they will have a good connection, each one know his level and limit. Intellectually, socially, morally,
And physically.
and physically. Still, in this way.
MashaAllah. Allah gafarta mala. Because of the culture and tradition, we have people saying things that are not correct. Allah gafarta mala, what are your closing thoughts and call action to people who are misinterpreting Islamic teaching on educating the girl child?
We will continue enlightenment, and we will continue calling for correction. Let me tell you my audit. With one people we discussed. He tell me that you always say we should put our girls into schools. When we put them into the school, what are they going to do? Even if they do the schooling, you will have no job. They forget the village life and they cannot fit into the our lives. No job, no husband, no reliable boyfriend. So when they will end up there is prostitution. We have so many of them, prostitute. And now the educationist cannot sit down and think, cannot take the experience of developed countries. We are with century curriculum and we want to live in a modern life. We want change your curriculum. Teach boys skill acquisition that can do. Teach the girls skill acquisition that she can do. If she cannot go and get job, she can do something for herself. Rather than go to TikTok and start telling the people, if you want your Hausawa may kyau, come to me, dial my number, go to my menene, dial my number. No moral, no culture, no social, nothing. Could you allow your boy, could you allow your son to marry such kind of girl? Then what the benefit did you get from the education? Nothing.
I want to believe some of them that are doing this are the uneducated ones because as an educated girl, if given the opportunity, you know your values, you know what is right and what is wrong, you know your right and from your left. So I think education kind of curtail doing such things. When you look at it widely and very well, you realize that those that are doing it are not fully educated. They don't even know the implication. They don't have the Islamic knowledge and the Western education. What's your input on that, Elegant for Jamila?
My input in that, one, your statement you said most of the people doing this are uneducated. I agree with you, only 40%. One. Number two is that people at the rural area are more victims of this kind. Because people at the rural areas, infrastructures are not there. Teachers are not there. So subsequently, the boy ran from the village looking for good culture in the city. And the woman was married to somebody she doesn't love. She broke the marriage and ran to. There are some people of this one. But most of the people doing the film, their education is not below secondary school. Most of them. And if they can learn to be doing TikTok and so on and so forth, why can't we, the authorities, teach them something beyond that one? You understand? So the issue is that we can correct it, but we have to come together, all of us. We have corrected it, we have to correct the cost. You understand? For example, if you go to the dispensary and say, my head is aching, the dispenser will write you go and take Panadol. But when you go to more advanced hospital, you will try to find the cause of the head before it gets to the mouth. Now let us go back to you.
Thank you very much, Elegant for Jamila. That has been impactful. We are very grateful. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Hope to see more of you.
Yeah,
But I'm apologizing both to whoever I offend in this discussion. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I mean to say the facts. Thank you very much. May God help us.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.